Do you want to work for an organization that offers you a flexible work environment? An organization where it's just as easy to work at 2 o'clock in the morning as it is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Do you want to work for a company where you can shape your own future, where you can define your career, where there are opportunities for advancement, and where your boss is supportive and encouraging about your growth and learning and your ability to move into new opportunities within the company? Do you want to work for a company that's open and transparent, that doesn't have secrets? Is the company that you're working for now one that already facilitates the movement from us as knowledge workers to us as learning workers? Do they even understand what that means? Do you understand what that means? Are you and your colleagues and the company that you work for staying abreast with all the current technology that allows us to connect and collaborate in so many different kinds of ways? These are just some of the questions that we're going to explore a little bit today as we talk about the characteristics of future workers. It may all sound like a fairy tale, but the reality is that this is what's happening in some companies even now, and certainly is going to be happening in more and more companies in the future. Believe it, it's true. Welcome to the future of work, playing out right now and as we continue to move forward from 2020 into 2021. Our focus here at do-over.me during the month of October has been the future of work. And much of the things that we have shared with you this month are from this book that is called The Future of Work, and it's written by Jacob Morgan. I highly recommend this book. Each time we've gotten together during this month of October, we've focused on a little bit different area of the book, except for the Wednesday when we did the whole book review. And today we're going to talk about the characteristics of future employees. According to Morgan, there are 7. They are having a flexible work environment, customizing your own individual work, sharing information, using new ways to communicate and collaborate, becoming a leader, shifting from knowledge workers to learning workers, and 7, learning to teach and learn at will. Those are the things that Morgan has identified will be characteristics of workers in the future, and thus characteristics of the kind of employees that companies are going to be wanting to hire in the future. So let's take a few minutes and unpack that information now so that you can be thinking about how you need to pivot what you're currently doing in terms of your education and or your experience to make sure that you have these skills and abilities going forward, and that those skills and abilities are showing up clearly and succinctly in your resume and on your LinkedIn profile. So let's talk about a flexible work environment. Most companies are going to be wanting to recognize that future employees need to have more flexibility. And with all the technology that's currently at our disposal, that's not hard to do. So that not only because of your personal schedule, you may be wanting to work at 2 o'clock in the morning instead of 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but also because you may be wanting to communicate and collaborate with people that are on the other side of the world. And if somebody's working in the day and somebody's working with somebody across the world, somebody else is going to have to be working at night. So having a flexible work environment is going to be really important in order to be able to meet the demands not only of those future employees, but also of the collaboration that's going to be expected. Employees and employers are going to want to be able to allow individuals to focus on their strengths. Research proves over and over again, and if you were with us at all in September, this should sound familiar to you. When people work from their strengths, they are more effective, more engaged, and the work gets done just in an altogether better kind of a way. People are happier, they stay with the company, and they're producing because you're allowing them to lead with their strengths, and you're measuring not how many hours they're punched in, but you're measuring their output, their impact, what they're actually creating. It's not about how many hours you stay signed in at your computer. It's about what you're doing with that time. And what's happening is people want to be recognized for the impact that they're making, not the time that they're spending. So they're customizing what they work on, how they work on it, what they bring to the table, when they bring that to the table into a situation that works best for them, which in turn then works best for the company. The third thing is the sharing of information. So, one of the things we're realizing more and more is that people want everybody to live in a transparent, open, and honest world. We want to be collaborative as opposed to competitive. We want to see the world as a place of abundance where there's plenty to go around for everybody. So, what we want to be able to do is share our strength, as I said, share our values so that everybody is moving forward. And this is one of the reasons why we are so supportive of improv at do-over.me, because the basic concept of improv is yes and. It's a matter of openly sharing, asking your partner, your colleague, to accept what you're offering and then to take it and build on it so that everybody has a bigger and better future. It's all about ways of communicating and collaborating, making friends with the technology that we're all going to have to use in order to be able to work with people either right next door, right down the hall, or halfway around the world. That is so critical. The use of personal devices, BOD, BOYD, bring your own device, has replaced the BOYB because everybody is going to have their cell phones, their laptops, and maybe a tablet, and all of those personal devices are ultimately going to get integrated into and be able to be shared with each other through technology. And that's what's going to allow us to communicate at 2 o'clock in the morning so that what we've got up there, then the input that we have to impact that project, is going to be seen by all of our colleagues, regardless of where they're located and what time they log onto the platform. So that ability to become comfortable with that technology is critical. And this is where so many people who are older find difficulty because technology wasn't as prevalent back in the day, like they say, as it is now. But the reality is that anybody can learn it. You don't have to be a young person in order to be fluent with technology. You just have to make up your mind that this is important to you and that you're going to learn. So make sure that as you're going forward, you're thinking about that because those are the tools that are going to rise you above and allow you to become a leader. Because again, the reality is that education and experience are always going to be important, but there are more and more ways of getting education and experience than what we traditionally looked at in terms of a 4-year or an advanced college degree. There's all kinds of online learning opportunities, online coaching opportunities, and more what's going to happen is that you as a leader are going to rise because of your behavior, not necessarily where you went to school or what you know, because it's more than what you know now. Your Everybody is knowledgeable because we all have phones. And phones are like little mini computers, like the World Book or the encyclopedias used to be. Now we carry them in our hands. So what's important is knowing how to find that information and knowing how to effectively connect the dots in that information or in the people or the projects or the ideas in order to actually facilitate an action. So people are moving from the definition of knowledge workers to learning workers, doing workers, impact workers, because they're taking that knowledge and seeing how they can put it all together in a way that makes sense in order to be able to have an impact on the kind of project that you're assigned to be working with. And that's how leaders are going to rise to the top. The other thing that those leaders are going to absolutely positively have to have: communication and interpersonal skills. Because a leader is defined by having followers, right? You can have great ideas, but if nobody's listening to you and if nobody's following you, then does that mean you're a leader? I don't think so. So the reality is that along with learning about the technology and the collaboration tools that you're going to have available to you, you have to know how to do basic communication. You have to know how to interact with other people. This is another place where those strengths that we talked about a little while ago that customize your work are so important, because if you want to be a leader, you want to also understand how other people bring their strengths to bear in a collaborative work environment. Because the best, the most successful, the most impactful teams are going to be those where everybody brings their own set of strengths, and together the team has everything it needs in order to succeed. And if you as a leader can recognize the strengths that each person on the team has and encourage them to bring their strengths to bear, then you're going to have a fully functioning and a very effective team of people that are going to be happy and engaged and doing what they're doing because they really want to. And that's the best kind of situation to have, because what that means is that you've got people who are learning and growing from each other because they're teaching each other. Everybody has a different area of expertise. And if you bring your area of expertise and the guy next to you has a different area of expertise, how wonderful is it when you have the opportunity to learn from each other? So, again, going back and listing these 7 things, we all are looking for and wanting to have flexibility in our work environment. We all want to be able to customize the work we do so that it's meaningful to us, so that we can bring our best strengths to bear in the work that we're doing. We want to be able to share information by learning how to use technology to communicate and collaborate effectively with others. That's 4. Because we all want to at least have the potential to be a leader. We may not all choose to be leaders, especially at any given moment in our lives, but I think most of us would like to have the potential to be if that's what we chose to do. We want to recognize that we're all in this together and shifting from knowledge workers to learning and doing workers so that we're actually going to be recognized for the impact that we're making in the company. And then finally, number 7, to be able to learn and teach at will, to be able to go back and forth with both things. It's really fascinating, all of the different things that Morgan looks at in this book. I highly recommend it. The other thing that he does is that he realizes that there are many companies that are living this now. This isn't just tomorrow. This is now too. So it's a worthwhile book to pick up and read, even if you're just looking through and looking at all the different companies that he profiled, because the companies that he profiled are mostly the companies that are already doing this kind of thing or else moving into that direction. I'm Cynthia Wade, and I founded do-over.me in 2014 because change is really hard, especially when you're talking about the kinds of changes that Jacob Morgan is talking about in this book, The Future of Work. Because not only our careers, but our very lives are at stake, because I guarantee you that it's not always going to turn out the way you plan it to be. We get it. We get it because we've been there. And along the way, we've developed lots of different ways to support each other. Some of them are traditional and some of them are totally unconventional, but they're all focused on action because we're bringing together a team of people who want to work with you, who want to be able to teach you and to learn from you so that we're all growing and learning together. I encourage you to check out our calendar events on our website, I'm not supposed to say that, do-over.me, do-over.me. There's lots of different opportunities to listen live like you're doing now, or to be able to go to the resources where this information is saved and listen to it whenever it's convenient for you. And certainly, we encourage you to reach out to us. You can do that by sending us an email at info@do-over.me or picking up the phone and calling us. I love to meet new people. So you can call us at 630-402-0429. We're a team of people that have been there, and we understand how hard it is. So that's why we're here partnering together with you to support you on your journey. It's who we are, it's what we do, and we are really looking forward to getting to know what it's like to be you as we work with you on this journey. See you on the path. Take care.